Most people think healthcare professionals who explore ownership are trying to escape a broken system. But what if that's not true at all? What if the people exploring new opportunities in healthcare aren't running away from patient care? They're looking for a bigger way to contribute to it. Because here's something I've noticed after talking with countless nurses, therapists, administrators, and healthcare leaders. Very few of them have fallen out of love with healthcare. They still believe in the mission. They still care deeply about patients. They still want to make a difference. What they're questioning isn't healthcare itself. They're questioning whether the role they're in today is the only role they'll ever be allowed to play. And that's an important distinction. Because if you've ever felt frustrated by slow decision-making, limited influence, staffing challenges, or the feeling that your best ideas never make it past a committee meeting, it doesn't necessarily mean healthcare is broken. It might simply mean you've outgrown the amount of impact your current role allows you to have. Today, I want to explore a different perspective. Not why healthcare professionals should leave healthcare, not why hospitals are failing, and not why entrepreneurship is the answer for everyone. Instead, I want to talk about why some healthcare professionals are choosing to stay committed to the same mission they've always believed in, but in a completely different capacity. Because sometimes the next chapter of a healthcare career isn't about walking away from the industry. It's about discovering a new way to help shape its future. Let's start with something important. Healthcare organizations face enormous challenges: rising costs, workforce shortages, increasing patient demand, regulatory requirements, documentation burdens, reimbursement pressures. Many of these challenges are bigger than any individual hospital, clinic, or healthcare system. So when healthcare professionals become frustrated, it's often not because they dislike patient care. It's because they feel caught between the care they want to provide and the realities of the environment they're working in. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You know what great care looks like. You know what patients need. You know what families are asking for. But sometimes your ability to influence outcomes is limited by factors outside your control. You may have excellent ideas. You may see opportunities for improvement. You may recognize gaps in service, yet implementing change can feel like steering a cruise ship with a canoe paddle. Not impossible, just slow and often frustrating. That's not a criticism of healthcare systems. It's simply the reality of large organizations. The larger the system, the more layers exist between identifying a problem and implementing a solution. For some professionals, that's perfectly fine. They enjoy clinical practice and want to focus exclusively on patient care. But others begin to feel a pull towards something different. Not because they care less, because they want to contribute in a broader way. One of the most common conversations happening across healthcare today isn't about compensation. It's about autonomy. Healthcare professionals increasingly want a greater sense of ownership over how they spend their time, how they serve patients, and how they build their careers. They want the ability to make decisions closer to the people they're helping. They want to innovate. They want flexibility. They want influence. And perhaps most importantly, they want to see the direct impact of their efforts. That desire isn't selfish. It's natural. People want to create. They want to build. They want to solve problems. And healthcare professionals are uniquely equipped to do exactly that because they've spent years understanding patient needs firsthand. They've seen what works. They've seen what doesn't. They've witnessed gaps in care. They've identified opportunities others may overlook. The question becomes, how can those insights be used beyond a traditional clinical role? When people hear the word ownership, they sometimes immediately think about business, revenue, operations, growth. And yes, those things are part of it. But ownership is really about something deeper. Ownership is empowerment. It's having the ability to take responsibility for outcomes and having the authority to influence them. Think about it this way. In many healthcare roles, you can identify a problem. You can recommend a solution. You can advocate for change. But ultimately, someone else makes the final decision. Ownership changes that equation. It allows you to move from participant to architect, from contributor to leader, from implementing someone else's vision to helping create your own. That doesn't mean ownership is easy. Far from it. It comes with responsibility, accountability, risk, challenges, but it also creates opportunities to shape services, culture, and patient experiences in meaningful ways. For many healthcare professionals, that's incredibly energizing because they realize they're not just serving within the system, they're helping improve it. One of the biggest misconceptions about entrepreneurship in healthcare is the idea that people who pursue ownership are somehow leaving healthcare. In reality, many are doing the exact opposite. They're becoming even more invested in it. Healthcare doesn't just need caregivers. It needs builders. It needs people who can identify unmet needs and create solutions. It needs leaders who understand both the clinical and human side of care. It needs individuals willing to develop organizations that support patients, families, and care teams. The healthcare ecosystem is much larger than hospitals and clinics alone. There are home care providers, senior care organizations, rehabilitation services, behavioral health programs, technology solutions, care coordination models, patient advocacy initiatives, community-based services. Every one of these areas requires leadership. And some of the most effective leaders are those who have firsthand experience caring for patients. Why? Because they understand what matters. They understand the stakes. They understand the people behind the metrics. Many healthcare professionals eventually reach a point where they ask themselves, can I continue serving patients without remaining in the exact same role forever? The answer is yes. And that's an important realization. A nurse doesn't stop caring because they become a healthcare leader. A therapist doesn't abandon their purpose because they move into ownership. A clinician doesn't lose their passion because they decide to build an organization instead of working within one. The mission can stay exactly the same. The vehicle simply changes. Instead of helping 10 patients during a shift, maybe you're creating an organization that helps hundreds. Instead of supporting one care team, maybe you're building an environment where dozens of caregivers can thrive. Instead of influencing outcomes one interaction at a time, maybe you're shaping systems that improve experiences for entire communities. That's not moving away from healthcare. That's expanding your impact within it. Nowhere is this evolution more visible than in senior care. The demographic trends are impossible to ignore. People are living longer. Families are navigating increasingly complex care needs. More seniors want to age in place, and communities need solutions that help individuals remain healthy, happy, and at home for as long as possible. This creates an enormous opportunity, not simply from a business perspective, from a mission perspective. The need is real, the demand is growing, the impact is meaningful. Healthcare professionals who enter this space often discover something powerful. Their clinical experience matters. Their understanding of patient care matters. Their ability to communicate with families matters. Their compassion matters. Everything they've spent years developing becomes a foundation for leadership. Instead of starting over, they're building upon what they already know. Sometimes the hardest part of evolving your role isn't learning new skills. It's giving yourself permission to imagine a different future. Healthcare professionals are often deeply committed people. They're helpers, problem solvers, caregivers. And because of that, many assume success follows a single path. Continue climbing, continue specializing, continue advancing within the same structure. But careers aren't one size fits all. What fulfilled you 10 years ago may not be what fulfills you today. What energized you early in your career may not be what excites you about the future. That's okay. Growth isn't betrayal. Change isn't abandonment. Evolution isn't failure. It's often a sign that you're ready for a new challenge, a new way to contribute, a new level of impact. If you're a healthcare professional watching this today, here's what I'd encourage you to consider. You don't have to choose between healthcare and opportunity. You don't have to choose between purpose and ownership. You don't have to choose between serving others and building something of your own. Those things can coexist. In fact, they often reinforce each other. The healthcare professionals who thrive in ownership roles are frequently the ones most connected to the mission, because they understand exactly why the work matters. They've lived it. They've experienced it. They've seen the difference quality care can make in someone's life. And now they want to create environments where that care can reach even more people. That's not walking away from healthcare. That's helping shape its future. Healthcare isn't broken. It's evolving. Patient needs are evolving. Care delivery is evolving. Communities are evolving, and careers can evolve too. The question isn't whether healthcare needs dedicated professionals. It absolutely does. The question is whether your next chapter might allow you to contribute in a bigger way. Maybe that's through leadership. Maybe it's through ownership. Maybe it's through building an organization that delivers exceptional care in your community. Whatever form it takes, remember this: you don't have to leave healthcare to create something new. You don't have to abandon the mission to gain more autonomy. And you don't have to choose between making a difference and building a future that's truly your own. Sometimes the most meaningful career move isn't stepping away from healthcare. It's stepping into a new role within it.